already in the pilot, Preacher goes there.
Mm-hmm.
You guys kind of show right off that, yes, we can do the stuff the comic does.
Yeah.
Does that continue through the season? Do you keep pushing the envelope in the same ways?
Yeah, we do. We do. We certainly try to, and it is just kicks off this world, and it gets crazier and crazier and crazier until the very end.
Crazy's good. Crazy's entertaining.
Well, crazy is Preacher, so we sort of have to honor that.
Seth was talking in the press conference how something that was important to you was actually showing Jesse be a preacher. Because there's not a ton of that in the comics.
Yeah.
Can you talk about developing that storyline for him?
Well, it was sort of essential for a couple of different reasons. One is I thought it would be interesting to see him. You don't really see characters that are preachers on TV that much anymore, at least not interesting ones. They're usually very saccharine or pious or hypocritical or something like that. So to have like a really complex, interesting lead character that was a preacher, it seemed like an interesting opportunity for us in terms of stories, but it also helped us kind of ground the show for this first season and sort of locate it in this town and sort of give Jesse a simple mission that would sort of keep him in this West Texas town, and it allowed us to sort of bring trouble to him as opposed to him having to go out and seek trouble.
Yeah, and I feel like by keeping it static, you kind of give everybody more room to develop.
Yeah, that's the idea.
And speaking of that, like as you work throughout the season, were there any characters that kind of ended up surprising you with how much you liked them, I guess, or disliked them even?
Yeah, for sure. In fact, we were sort of blessed with, we had a pilot episode, which a lot of shows get ordered straight to series now, but we had a pilot episode which was really informative because some of the characters that were supposed to be sort of just guest stars, like one episode and done, in the pilot we liked so much that we were like, oh, we're going to have to learn more about them, we're going to bring them back more and stuff like that. So that was great, for sure.
And I'm curious, can you talk about, like, I noticed in the pilot, you kind of have with the transitions, they're super stylized, I feel like. They're kind of comic booky.
Yeah.
Can you talk about bringing those elements in, considering it's a pretty heavy story?
Yeah. Bringing the comic book
elements?
elements?
Kind of like giving it that feel, I guess.
That's one of the biggest challenges of the show from everyone, from the writers and the producers, directors, actors, designers, everything like that, is sort of balancing the seriousness of the themes of it and the stakes of the drama with the craziness and the silliness and the perversity and the violence, and having all those things working together, and not sort of one genre stealing from another, but somehow the sum of its parts being something, I can't remember what that saying is, that it all works out somehow beautifully.
It all comes together.
Yes, it all comes together.
And you have such a resources, I feel like, with Garth and Steve working so closely with you. Can you talk about like the back and forth you guys have had as this show has gone on? Yeah,
no, Garth has been great. He's been really involved and really supportive and encouraging, and he hasn't been one of those creators that's like said, well, no, this is the way it is and it's got to be that way. He's been very collaborative and understanding that we needed to start in a different way, and that a comic book is not always the same thing as a TV show. And to him, I think what was important was that we capture the spirit of Preacher with the characters and the tone and all of that. And hopefully we were successful at that.
Yeah, I can imagine how much of a relief it has to be that he's not too precious.
Yeah,
I guess
it was. I mean, he could have really thrown his weight around and done all that, but I think he sensed pretty early on that the three of us, Seth and Evan and myself, were really, loved his comic, and we wanted to do Preacher. We didn't want to do our, we weren't just using it as a brand to sort of riff off of, that we really wanted to do his world. And I think once he realized that, I think he was excited. So.
Nice. And that world is so rooted in Western influences with Western films. I know it films in Albuquerque, but how else did like the world of like that genre inform what you did?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's all about like big skies and sort of how you frame characters in the camera and stuff like that. And Jesse's a very sort of old-fashioned Western character in a lot of ways. He's very stoic, and so we talked a lot about Unforgiven and No Country for Old Men, and we talk a lot about Westerns for sure. It's a big part of, how we conceived of the show.